Hello, and welcome to the second podcast of the Feline Foster Dad. I guess it's been, almost a week, not quite, that I did the last one, and I've been sort of busy trying to do other stuff in the week, and I haven't really had much time or thoughts on what to say. And I happened to be doing a edit for a bunch of photos from I guess about a week and a half ago when I was at the adoption center, and looking at them, I said, you know what? This is probably a good thing to talk about. Namely, I want to talk about doing some action shots of cats. And you might wonder, well, what's the most important thing to deal with when you want to do action photos of cats? And really, the most important thing, I'm not even going to get into any of the technical side, like your f-stop, shutter speeds, flashes, or any of that other stuff, but just namely, know your subject. It's very important regardless of whether you want to do dogs, cats, snakes, people, roller derby, that you know a thing or two about the action that you're dealing with. It's most important that you be able to, read the body language, know who you're dealing with to be able to anticipate. Because one of the things about action shots is either you're going to get really, really lucky, which more often than not won't be the case, or you can sort of do a little fortune telling and figure out where things are going to be heading in the next second or two and try to anticipate for that. I know it sounds a lot easier to say than it is to do, but the fact of the matter is you're going to more often than not, you can get it wrong and you'll get it right. But when you get it right, you will get it right. And with some practice, hopefully you'll get it a little more right than you're getting it wrong. But you have to have some patience for how you do things. The first thing I happened to stumble across was this shot of Calcifer, who, as I do this podcast at the moment, is still up for adoption. So if you like what you're seeing him doing, you might want to consider checking him out. Anyways, one of the things I noticed, and I know this from previous, is Calcifer likes to climb on top of the cages. And how does he get there? Well, he jumps. And how does he jump? Well, from the top of one cat tree. So when I saw him standing on the cat tree like he was, I could tell that, yeah, we were getting ready for a little kitty takeoff. I mean, just look at the body language. You can see where his eyes are. You can see him getting down, and you can see him bending. So I knew that, yep, sure enough, this kitty cat was going to jump. And, well, sure enough, so I set the camera accordingly, waited. In the moment he did his takeoff, snap. And as you can see, this is the photo that I ended up with. This is one midair kitty cat. Actually, I find it kind of interesting about the shot because you can actually tell just from, his paws, his tail, his ears, everything about the way he's jumping. But one of the most interesting things you can kind of figure out from the photo is his whole body doesn't actually land on the top of the cage. Only his front paws will, and once they do, he's going to use them to pull his whole body up, as you can see, which I think is kind of fascinating if you have any interest in how cats sort of behave themselves in these types of action shots. And of course, going along sort of with the theme of, well, what goes up must come down. That brings me to the next shots that I want to see. This is Elliot, a beautiful cat who was rescued again from a hoarding situation. Just if you can imagine it, 120 cats in a single bedroom apartment. I know, not a nice thing to deal with, but the cats have been managing. So I noticed him sitting on top of the second level of the cat tree there, and I could tell by the way he was staring at the ground that, yeah, kitten was going to go down. So I set things up accordingly, waited for him to make his leap, and boom, here you can see Elliot jumping down, which actually looks sort of less like a jump and more like a controlled fall. Looking at these four photos, you can kind of see how things set up and then how the action plays out. I show them just because I get asked questions about my photography a fair bit, and people seem to want to ask, well, what camera do you use? I think the most important thing, really, if you want to do any photography of animals such as cats, is know your subject. And I have to admit this, I'm still learning a lot about cats. I can't say I have all the answers, and different cats will behave differently in different environments. So you have to sort of learn your environment. You have to learn their behaviors. You have to know one cat will behave the same. So you have to sort of learn what they're about. But sort of, I show these photos mostly just to sort of include these photos, just because I think they're kind of fascinating how the action played out, and more importantly, I think it's good that to illustrate that. The reason I got these shots is I was anticipating them in the first place, which is I think what you want to do. So hopefully, like. I know we can spend a lot of money on our camera and our gear and our photoshops and all other stuff, but at the end of the day, really what it comes down to is know your subject. I don't care what camera you have, but you can take some amazing photographs if you get to know your subjects and how they behave. I show these, and hopefully by looking at these photos, it'll sort of inspire you to go, yeah, if I want to take these action shots, I need to spend a little time getting to know my subject. Hopefully you do, and there's always some room for improvement. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a little talk about how you approach action photography with cats. And as I said, most important lesson, and the only reason I'm really doing this podcast, is just get to know your subject. I can't tell you, what to look for. There's plenty of cat behavior books, but mostly do it all for your observation. Get out, observe the cats, and take lots of pictures. And I wish you the best of luck with your cat photography. Until next time.